To download MCUXPresso IDE for Windows, you can type into a Google search bar MCUXPresso IDE download for Windows 10, 8, or whatever you happen to have. We're going to see this pop up, and this is probably the best one here for us. So we can click here, and we'll go to Downloads, and we can get the latest version. Now, one of the things it's going to do is it's going to ask you to sign up for this. So if I say latest version, it's going to come up here and you can register. And part of your registration is at the end you have to validate that you've got email by clicking on the email address you did. But once you got signed up, you can then sign in. Now, there are older versions if you want to download older versions. These are the previous versions you can download, but we're going to go to the current version and get the most up-to-date version. And when we click on this, there are 3 different operating systems you can download to. But before we do, we have to agree to this license, and then we can select whether we want Windows, Linux, or Mac iOS. I'm going to choose Windows because I'm running Windows 10, and I'm going to say Save File. And because I'm running Firefox up here at the top, I can just click here and see how my download is going. Now once it's downloaded, I can just double click on this, and I just say yes. I accept the agreement. I say next, 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 and next, and next, and finally install. It'll take a couple of minutes depending on the speed of your machine and what sort of hard drive you have. And it's going to be installing P&E micro drivers and all sorts of other drivers that you can use if you want. You may use them in another course like MCO556. And it may fail to create a restore point, but that's okay. We'll just say okay. And we're going to say next. And we're going to take out these 2 because we just want to launch the actual IDE, and we're going to say finish. Now when we say finish, it's going to launch. And when it does launch, we want to make sure of a few things. First of all, we want to go to File. We want to go to Switch Workspace. We want to say Other. And we want to change this to be our Downloads directory. We're going to say Select Folder. And under Copy Settings, we want to click on all 3 of these for Preferences and Launch. Now at this point, we want to say File and Exit. And what we want to do at this point is to actually put a link to MCUXPresso. To do that, we're going to go to File Explorer. We're going to go to C drive. Under C drive, we're going to say NXP. And I've got other versions of MCUXPresso here, but we're just going to use 11.2.0. And under here, we're going to go to IDE. And under IDE, we've got MCUXPresso IDE here. So we're going to left click, then right click, and we're going to say Pin to Taskbar. And once you've got MCUXPresso downloaded and you're running it, first thing you want to do is go to File. You want to import a file. You want to make sure under General you're doing Projects from Folder or Archive. Say Next. Go to Archive and pull up one that you've exported from Embed and double click on it. Say Finish. And at this point what you can do is you can just open this guy up, go down to your .cpp, click on it. And one of the things you're going to find is that you need to install an SDK for the Freedom because that's not one of the ones that is here. So what we can do is once it's here, we can click here and then we can say Project, Properties, and it's going to tell us that we're unable to support this chip because it has all this information coming in from Embed that you exported, but it has no support for it. So we have to get support. So we're just going to say OK. And what we can do is click here and it will automatically launch in your browser this MCUXPresso SDK builder. And from here we can say select board, and we can go to boards. We can go to Kinetis, and under Kinetis there's our Freedom K64. We click on it and we just say build MCUXPresso SDK, and it says loading. And if we scroll down here we can say download SDK and we say I agree. Then we can go here and say save as. I'm going to put it on my desktop and I'm just going to say save. And once I've done that, I can go to open. I go to desktop. There it is. And all I have to do is take this, left click on it, and drag it over to installed SDKs and let it go. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to? And you can just say OK. And once you slide it over into here, it will put it in here. At this point, all you have to do, since the SDK is installed, is we can just go up here and hit the blue button, making sure your USB is plugged in. We're going to deselect these two here, so we're using our DAP link. Then we're just going to say OK, and it says 0 errors, 0 warnings. It's doing the link server now, putting it in, and at this point you're ready to actually start troubleshooting using your controls here, so you can run, single step, whatever you want to do.